Alright. I realized the other day that we've uploaded pretty much almost all the music for Thundercross 2. I never actually showed you the game itself. So I'll take a quick look today. So here's the board. This came out in '91, so, you know, at this point, arcade tech got a bit more simplified. And as you can see, all the chips and just a lot more organized. And my board's not in the best shape. As you can see, one of the labels is peeling off from, 20-year-old glue. But, and yeah, there's some kind of stains and bleh. But still. And for this one, I just have the copied art, unfortunately. You can see the original art's a lot more shiny and nicer looking. But better than nothing. Alright, so let's get to the game itself. Okay. So yeah, this is the sequel to the original, which came out, and this version came out in '91. And it is PCB exclusive. The game was only released in Japan, and there are no ports, which is very unfortunate because this game is honestly one of my absolute favorites. It's just really, really fun. Take it off the mute here. Here we go. Now, if you've listened to the music I've uploaded, well, that's the thing about this game that I really love, the music. It's amazing. From what I've heard, the person that actually composed the music, its goal was to make the synth sound as, like real guitars as possible. And I think he did a pretty good job. I love the early '90s Japanese guitar synth that a lot of games back then used. And it's fantastic in this game. But besides the music, everything else is just really good too. The original Thundercross was famous for basically two things: the music and the heavy parallax scrolling. And this game basically improves on both of those. There's way more parallax and even better music. And it's just, some people might say this game's a little easy, which compared to, say, Gradius, for example, it really is. But just a very, very fun game. Very relaxing. The kind of game it's like, well, I don't feel like doing anything, what should I do? Play Thundercross 2. And they added a few weapons to this one. Like you'll be able to now you can actually upgrade your normal shot, which is what I'm using here. And to be honest, it's probably overall the best weapon in the game. The super weapons make a return, but as usual, I always tend to get killed when I'm using them. Just a really well-made game. It looks great, sounds great, plays great. A lot of variety. And this boss is kind of a cameo from the first game. Those attacks are a bit different. And he opens up to be a robot of death. Don't screw this up. Don't screw this up. Don't screw this up. Don't screw it up. The bosses are actually pretty easy, but they're really cool. I probably won't get to it in this video because of the time limit, but, there's a typical giant battleship stage, but what's really cool about it is that halfway through you fly inside it, which, other games have done, but the boss is the actual ship engine. It's literally a giant piston that shoots bullets as it pumps around in a circle. Good stuff. This level actually has 2 paths through it. In fact, I believe, which is a nice feature as well. See, I took the lower path here because of the kind of nifty little background thing. The upper path, though, is completely different. It's all like lava. It's like a lava world or whatever. There's like, you know, bright red lava flowing everywhere, and fireballs shooting at you. Like, completely different. Which is nice. This game actually has a bit more replay than, you know, your typical shooter in that regard. Like the first game, continue as much as you want until you reach the final stage, number 7, and then continues are disabled. Alright, mini-boss here. There is a lot of variety. My absolute favorite stage in the game, which is really late, unfortunately, so one of the very last ones, so I won't be able to show it to you, has an asteroid field. But unlike, you know, in typical games, well, you have to, of course, if you hit the asteroids, you will die, but you actually, but they're big asteroids, and you need them, because the boss that's, you know, way out in the distance that you're approaching shoots this massive laser at you. And the only way to dodge it is to actually hide behind the asteroids, because they actually block the lasers like a shield. So you're constantly ducking behind them. It's just a cool idea, and it works really, really well. Like here we have, I don't know, Robo Medusa, but yeah, as you can see, this boss is pretty simple. Just down, up. Down, up. The music's great, the design's great. Just a very fun game to play, really. I highly recommend this. And there are no ports. So sure, I mean, you can emulate it, but God, I love the music on this level. Crank this bitch. And I hope you don't mind if I sing along, because I might. So awesome. Wish I could sing that good. I literally could put this song on loop for like a week straight and not get bored of it. My personal theory is that Konami kind of designed the Thunder Force games as like to kind of get people into shooters, because I mean they're way, way easier than, you know, any of the Gradius games, and they also generally have, you know, better graphics and music that's just really easy to get into. I mean, like this mini boss here, all I have to do is sit here and shoot it. If I didn't have options, you know, if I died, it'd be a bit harder. You'd actually have to put yourself in fire range, but if I don't, you know, it's kind of a matter of I think the game speaks for itself pretty well. It just looks great, sounds great, plays great. A lot of the stages are cool. The meteorite laser stage really is one of my favorite stages in a shooter ever, because I don't know. The game just managed to do everything it does in a fairly, you know, there's some games that I love, like, for example, Gradius 3, but Gradius 3 kind of, I don't know, it just failed at some things, like a stupid-ass cube rush, but this game just really succeeds at everything it does. Not the hardest, but it doesn't need to be. Like, this boss, for example, is pretty simple. I'm running out of time, but I think I got enough to finish it. Like, as you can see, I can basically just kind of sit in one spot. I don't really have to move so much here. The second form's a bit more challenging, but still... You gotta watch for where the lasers pop out. Well, that's about all the time I've got, really. Great game. Play it if you can. See ya.